Hey, squirrels, and welcome back to another episode of AvyHD. We are having a super special episode today. I'm joined here with Miss Faye Prado, my very first hire and very dear friend, who honestly changed the game for my whole life. The way that I approach everything and the way that I manage all of my time and all of my tasks, and even how I talk to myself. A lot of my internal speech is now in Faye's voice. So welcome. I'm so excited to have you here for us to talk to the people. But tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you? Where are you from? What are you doing?
So going back, I would like to first welcome everybody who's tuning in with Miss Avy and the team's podcast. With the question given, I first met Miss Avy briefly during one of a Viral Solutions meeting. So the company is also based in Atlanta, and the owner is Miss Abby's brother-in-law. And after some time, she messaged the managers that I'm gonna be opening up an online platform or a virtual assistant business. I was interested. I sought out help with my former managers and applied for the role. A week passed. I did not get any messages, so I followed up. Because I know, business owners are busy with their time. And if you do not follow up with the things that you want in terms of work, they won't get back to you. So I did follow up, and thankfully, within the day, she asked me if I could do an interview with her. And after that, I'm with Alisto from the start. So basically, I'm Miss Avy's right hand from the beginning. It was just me and her. So I got to know her, everything about her. Business life, personal life, stuff in between. And that's how Alisto came to be. So
I don't even remember the beginning. It's like I blocked it out, I think.
Maybe on your end, but it was a really good memory for me. So I still remember bits and pieces of it.
I'm sure that one day I'll look back and I'll be able to remember it clearly.
So a lot happened, a lot changed, a lot developed, and you're here.
But what was it like kind of you jumped into Alisto when it didn't exist. We didn't have anything except for a name and an LLC.
Yes, that's correct.
And I'm, a unique partner to have in a situation like that. So what was that like?
Well, of course, when the business itself hasn't been quite established yet like we are today, it was a bit nervous, but the goal is to give service. So help you out the best that I can in terms of, scheduling, organizing, interviewing, meeting people, and whatever comes in between. So the crucial part of that is just being patient, because we all know that startup businesses isn't gonna be as big as everyone think it is. You need to work hard for it. You need to find the right people. You need to work yourself more than you should, because you're still not sure of how things will go moving forward. But you just need to trust. I trusted Miss Avy. I stayed with her on and off from the start. So I know that as long as she got everybody's back, she got our backs and stuff like that, I know that everything's flowing out pretty well. And you just don't need to doubt anything, because when you do, even if you know it's inevitable to like having doubts, if you put that on yourself and in your mindset, it's gonna be difficult for you, your employer, and the business moving forward. So just be patient, understand things, work hard, and with Miss Abby, every day is an adventure, I might say. It's not.
I don't
It's
think we
not bad.
ever
It's not bad.
we
It's
never
fun.
doubted the success of Alisto. I think we always knew that Alisto was going to be successful, and we always knew that we had something that was really
Mhm.
special and really unique. But like you said, every day is an adventure. And I
Yeah.
think that a lot of people who are looking to hire an EA or who are looking to figure out how they can delegate, they don't really know where to start. And I mean, neither did we.
True.
I think we just started everywhere all at once.
It's true. Like everything all at once, basically.
So that's where the ADHD part comes in, loyal viewers. I have always been told that I need to be systematic and I need to like work in a specific order. And I've always kind of fought against my natural instinct and the way I naturally process stuff, because that's how I was taught I should think. But here was my first opportunity that it was my company. It was my money. I'm paying you. So I can ask for whatever I want in whatever way I want. And if you don't want to do it, you can quit. That's how employer-employee relationships work. And we just like jumped into everything all at once.
True.
How did we do it? Like, what did that look like?
Well, at first, you were very open and you communicated things with me from day one. You told me that you had ADHD and you have problems or challenges dealing with specific tasks, not just on the business side, but also on the personal side with your condition. I did not mind it at all because all individuals are diverse. We think differently, we act differently, and we show our feelings differently, but we work when we need to work, when we have to work. So for me, dealing with Miss Abby was not really a challenge. Personally, it's not a challenge, but it was really fun. Though she's kind of scary at first because, we haven't really established we haven't really established who I am or who she is at the first month. We're getting to know each other. So being scared is just a normal response because you don't know what you're dealing with. And we established that whatever happens, you need to tell me if you need help. You need to tell me if I'm doing something wrong. You need to be honest with me, to be open with me so that moving forward, our relationship, not only like us being friends, but also her as my employer would improve. Because I'm with her almost every day. Almost every day. I'm a call away. I'm a text away or a chat away or a video call away. So wherever she goes, well, not all the time. Most of it, I know where she is, what she has been doing, because she tells me I schedule stuff for her, even for the kids, or like, whatever comes in between. So that communication is very important. And I'm so happy and I'm so appreciative that even if she knew me as a stranger at first, she trusted me with everything because she also knows that we need to help each other out moving forward so that everything will run smoothly, not only with Alisto itself, like for the business, but Miss Abby herself with her personal stuff. It's, every day is different. Really different.
Yeah.
When you work with an employer who says that that they are neurodivergent, it's really a case-to-case basis, because even if they categorize themselves in this specific category, they think differently. And they have, what I'll say, maybe they have the same things, but it's not all the time that they are alike. They also were raised differently. They have different environments. And with Miss Avi, it wasn't a pain actually. It was really fun. Like, to be honest, even if work has been, let's say, high and low, because she gave me a lot. And those things made me grow as an individual, as a virtual assistant. Even if it's so subtle that sometimes I did not think that her goal is like this, but as an end result, it completely changed me on how I view and how I work. So sometimes neurodivergent people will tell you, okay, I need you to do this. Usually I don't ask why. I just, I just do what Miss Abby asked me to do. And then if I need help, I tell her. If I don't, I continue with the work. And at the end of that work, I would understand why she wanted me to do these things. And those are not simple tasks.
To just trust blindly like that. It's very interesting also because, like, as people with ADHD, I'm not going to just trust you because you told me to. It's not in my nature. But the reason I had to learn how to do that, because my natural instinct is to come in and to give you all of the information, to come in and give you the full scope of everything that I see from beginning to end, and then I'll come back to the beginning and then we'll break it down. Most people don't have the attention span for that, even though we're the ones who have bad attention, quote unquote. Most people don't have the attention span for that. And also it's too much information for a typical person to hold inside their brain all at once. It's the whole strategy and the whole picture. So what I've learned is that you really need to give people one bit at a time based on the strategy that you hold in your own head. But the key piece to that is that trust. That I'm not going to lead you astray. There is a plan. And that starts with, as a business owner, knowing not only what the plan is, that's really important, but knowing where your weaknesses are and where you're going to need help.
It's true. It's like, think of it like a box full of tangled yarn. When you're crocheting, let's say, you need to fix them so that every thread that you use is in order and it's gonna be easy. So Miss Avi has already this stuff in her head. So usually we have a brain dump. What it does is that she dumps everything so that she could clear her mind of things and work on, for example, solely on the business, and everything else should be done by me. So I work on those other stuff.
Yeah, so for those who don't know what a brain dump is, basically we've developed a brain dump is pretty much taking everything from your brain and putting it down on paper, just taking it out of your brain. And we developed a process that works for me to basically break it down task by task. The reason that it works so well is because you have a handoff at some point to your executive assistant. So the first step is just to put all of your thoughts from your brain onto paper or onto the computer. We have a digital resource. If anyone's interested, we're happy to send it to you. Just ask us for it. We have a digital resource that will walk you through the brain dump step by step. And you basically just put all your thoughts down without censoring yourself at all. Just whatever is coming to mind, that's what you're going to put down on paper. And it's a really critical piece of the process. Then the next thing that you do is you categorize it based on what like field of your life it's in, what area of your life is in. Is it personal? Is it business? Is it something that's business that you want to work on right now? Or is it more of a strategic long-term thing? After that, you assign it an importance or an urgency. And after that, a deadline that you want to have. That's a lot of steps for someone like me. So often what happens is that you put down a bunch of your thoughts, and then that's where the handover happens. So then at that point, Faye now has my jumbled ball of yarn and also enough information about me and to kind of almost guess, I would say, or like anticipate what I would probably do if I had the attention to actually do it myself and then impersonate me.
So usually with neurodivergent individuals, they will, for example, they're using brain dump, they will dump a lot. And sometimes it won't make sense, but you have the general idea of it. So even if your employer, or let's say Miss Avi, gave you a list from the brain dump, you need to figure things out and ask for help if you need to. Don't be afraid. You're not somebody who can just, with one look of the list, everything. No, it doesn't work that way. So with Miss Abby, if I don't understand a specific task or a specific idea, I ask her, like, what do you mean by this? And then after every bit of information that she gave me, I categorize everything, put it on the priority list, whichever needs to be first, and the deadline on which things needs to be done right away. And speaking of deadlines, as an executive assistant, you need to also be firm and, push your employer that I know you're busy, I understand, you have a lot of this thoughts on your head, you have a lot of things on your plate, whether it's business or personal, but you need this specific task done. And don't be afraid, because they hired you for a reason. They hired you to help them out. And if you're holding back, you're not doing your job properly. So be communicative and let them know that, Miss A, this is what we need to do today. Whatever comes in between, it's okay, but you need this done today at this specific hour. And it went well. I was afraid at first, but it went well.
Some days are better than others.
That's true. And, as time goes by, sometimes she's the one asking me, hey, what do I need to do at this hour? Do I do something at this hour? And sometimes it's just an empty space. Like, she does not need to do anything. And most of the time, I would ask her, have you eaten? Have you take your medication, on whatever medication it is? Did you hydrate? Did you shower? Have you, pick up the kids or go to their appointments? It's those stuff. Sometimes it's the little stuff that you think are irrelevant, but those are the stuff that are most crucial with neurodivergent individuals. So don't miss out on anything, especially if they trusted you with everything else that's going on with their life. I just see it as like, as I said earlier, it's always an adventure every day. We will never know what will happen. Like, whether it's gonna be a good day, a tiring day, but just keep in mind that it's not a bad day, because at the end of it, you're learning stuff. You're learning stuff about your employer. You're learning stuff about the business that they're doing. You're learning more skills for yourself. So it's really, we should really have a mindset of positivity.
I think when you're working with a visionary type of person, getting to know them is almost as important as knowing their business and knowing the business side of stuff. Because there's such an important element of like tricking the mind and tricking the brain to work to your advantage. So what are your like hacks for making people do what they need to do?
As I've said or mentioned earlier, everyone who's neurodivergent is really different from one another. With me and Miss Avi, what I've learned is that number one, be very open and communicate with her. Because as much as she's giving you tasks, you also need to learn what specific task she wants. Because as a neurodivergent individual, sometimes they would just give you general tasks. But within their head, they gave you a specific one. So I usually ask Miss Abby what this task is and how to like chunk it down, or if she wants something specific with it. Number two, ask for help if need be. Even if she entails you with this specific thing, this specific idea, if you don't know how to navigate yourself around it, and she knows some way to help you, ask for help. It's not just your employer, but if you're working with a team, you can also ask them for help so that things will run smoothly. Number three is that if your plan A does not work, you go for plan B until you reach C, just to have that task done. Because what I've encountered is that, things don't go our way sometimes, and it's okay. But Miss Abby challenged my brain to like work around it, have different plans in case this plan did not work. Go do your research on things that will help you with a specific task. And just trust yourself, because your employer also trusts you. And have faith that the work that she gave you, or the work that the employer gave you, is something that you will achieve because they believed in you doing so. I had this memory. Miss Abby just hired me a week after the HR. The week after the HR is, I think, Miss Vanessa and Stephanie. It was it Steve or Annal's birthday? It was Steve, right?
Steve's birthday.
It was her daughter's birthday.
Fourth birthday party.
Everybody was in the Philippines back then. He asked us to plan a birthday party. Everybody was on the Philippines. She was on the US. We did not anticipate it, but we volunteered because she already has a lot on her plate. So we did the best that we can, everything that we can for that party to happen. We got suppliers. We even messaged Miss husband, like, sir, we need this stuff because we ourselves, as much as we want to be there, we can. So we need help. Because I'm not sure if it's a surprise party, but it's a party, right? It like in your house.
We had already invited, like, there were going to be like 20 little kids showing up at our house, and there was nothing planned at all. No food, no cake, no decorations, no activities, no piñata, no nothing. And I gave you guys what? No invitation.
No.
And you had 4 days? Ish. Yeah, maybe 3.5. And it was over the weekend also.
Yes.
So it was a completely ridiculous timeline.
It's true. it's those challenges that will really make you work your ass off. Sorry about that. The word.
Podcast.
But after everything, you gain self-confidence because you pulled the job. You gain the trust of your employer because what she gave you, you achieved it. So like going back, a lot of things happened with me and Miss Abby, and then I've endured a lot, but not the thing that you're saying. No, it's good because she she made everybody on the team go out of their shell, make us understand about diversities, mental health, make us work our ass off in a good way, wherein you gain more skills and stuff like that. We understand her better. It's not that we did not understand her at the beginning. We did, but we understand her more with the cues that she's giving, um, the the priorities being done. We know that with one side eye, one eyebrow raise, a smirk here, a smile there, the body language, we know her cues. We know how she is, how she thinks, and this will not come within 6 months. This will not come within a year. This will come if you work closely with your employer who is neurodivergent. And there will be days wherein both of you will have it bad. There will days wherein both of you will celebrate your victories together. And don't be afraid. Even if your boss looks scary, even if things doesn't go the right way within the day, but it's just the day, you still have like 364 days left to go within your work, or if you're in a contract or stuff like that. So and also be you, because the more that you are you, the more that they would understand you, and the more that you would understand them.
Definitely me, and I think a lot of my fellow ADHDers, and when they can sense some sort of inauthenticity or like something that's just not quite true, I will always focus on that. So I might not do anything about it right away, but I'm going to note it. I'm going to gather some more information, and I'm not going to feel comfortable until I know that this is a safe space. I'm not going to be totally comfortable to be myself. So it's really important to be authentic when you're dealing with people who are neurodivergent. And I think a piece of what connects everything you said, Faye, and this is sort of your special brand of magic, is you can't get anywhere by trying to be someone else or by trying to be something else. You have to show up as yourself, totally the weird and the neurodivergencies and the including all of the good things and all of the challenging things.
True.
What can you leave the people with?
Let's see. You start by trusting that you're capable of doing everything that's been given to you. Whether it's big or small, trust yourself. Number 2, trust your employer as well. Trust your CEO, trust your boss, and everyone that you work with. Because it's not only you working, but you're also working with these different individuals who have different mindset. And at the end of that, you have one goal: to make your company flourish, to make your company known, and be successful in the long run. Number 3 is who you are as a person can be seen by people you're working with. Whether you did something small, whether you did something big, they see that. Even if you don't see it yourself, you would hear it, people would say it to you, and don't doubt yourself in any way. Now, with working with neurodivergent employers, please, and I tell you this with all sincerity and with all honesty, never judge them in days wherein, you did not have a good one. Never judge them in days wherein they needed your help badly, because you're there to help them. And at the same time, you're there to ease every burden, take out the thorn to make their life better. Because normal individuals, as I would say, are completely different from neurodivergent individuals, because neurodivergent individuals has already a lot going through their mind. They just can't process it physically or emotionally and stuff in between. So all of us has quirks, flaws, we make mistakes. Sometimes we're not perfect, but we had good runs. And you as an individual who's helping your bosses, a neurodivergent boss, is only making their life better. But you cannot just imagine it, because it's something different for me. Like seeing Miss Abby happy, celebrating small wins, is different from seeing other individuals celebrating their small wins. I don't know what it is, but like for me it's different. Like, how would I explain it? Like
it's harder for me to get there. You have a lens into what it actually takes for someone like me to get to where I need to go. And you're also privy to a lot of the internal talk and a lot of the internal messaging of needing to do everything on your own. So if you're a person who has never accepted help, and you're all of a sudden, you, Faye, are the person who I am trusting to be my help, that's a huge responsibility, and it's a tremendous joy when it works out. Because you know how hard it is for me. If I'm answering an email, you know that you've been reminding me about this email for 46 days. You're the only person who knows that, except the person who's waiting for a reply.
Yeah, usually I do that. You remember the message that I was mean with this tech support person?
Oh, I was so proud of you.
I'm not usually mean, but I needed to, because we needed something and it's very important. And I asked her, I'm really sorry if this will make you look bad, but I needed to do this because we need to. And sometimes you need to do it.
I was like, I would have been so much meaner. So that's a perfect example of anticipating what I would do in the situation, but putting a filter on it. It doesn't have to be intense anger. It doesn't have to be a huge deal.
It just needs to be
that I'm going to be angry. But we're going to be straight to the point. We're going to do what we need to do.
And a little aggressive. Just a little aggressive.
Not a little aggressive. Or beguile aggressive. Just a
little bit. So with everything else, I know that EAs would have a hard time, especially if they haven't encountered anybody who's neurodivergent, especially on the Philippine side. I don't know, Filipinos are just made differently. I think like that. I mean to say, that's how I see Filipinos. Like, in other countries, mental health is very important. Everywhere else, I know it's very important. But I don't know, Filipinos are just made differently. And how we handle things is is a case-to-case basis, like I said. But we just handle things in a way that at the end of the day, everything will flow smoothly. And I hope that, like, for aspiring executive assistants or executive assistants who's been in the field for so many years, or virtual assistant who wants to shift to EAs or to become EAs, I know that you are skilled, you are talented with everything that you honed as a person during your work. Do not be afraid to have diversity in terms of employers. It's not that you're putting yourself down. No, it's the thing wherein you would grow more, you would explore and be adventurous in your field. Because if you're always sticking to just a specific type of employer, you would never know if you will do better. And one more thing is that risking things is not always a bad thing. Like, I risked being mean to that tech support guy because we needed something, but it made us have the thing that we need for the business. So don't hold back. As long as you trust yourself, you trust your employer, and your employer trusts you, and you explain fully what you are doing, you're gonna be okay. So for me, like, working with Miss Abby, it's different, but good. I think you made me a little bit smarter over the past few years.
You definitely make me look smarter.
At least my brain cells are like adding up one by one.
And I think on the other side of that, for anyone who's thinking of hiring an EA and you're not sure that someone's going to get you, the key is knowing yourself. So I can give all sorts of information about myself. I can tell my team, oh, if my face ever looks like this, don't worry about it. I'm not angry, I'm just tired. That's what my tired face looks like. First, I need to know what my own tired face looks like versus my angry face, especially if I'm somebody who's masking a lot. So if I'm normally masking and then I drop my mask and I'm tired, which is going to be 3, 2, 1, this is a totally different face. And I look like I want to murder you, for those of us who are watching on video. It's a whole different face. And this is what's comfortable for me. This is my comfortable face. I don't look like this most of the time because I want people to want to look at me and be engaged with what I'm saying and see my eyes and, like, be part of the world. But I have to know that about myself so that I can tell my team. And the second piece of that is when somebody is questioning you, understand their motivation. If somebody is questioning you because they're trying to be an asshole, then you don't have to answer their questions. They're trying to waste your time. If someone is asking you questions because they genuinely want to understand how to serve you better, it's worth it to take the time to really think about what they're asking and give an honest and full answer to the best of your ability, because it will help them serve you better. And not everyone is built to support a neurodivergent individual. Some people are really built to do specific tasks. You're really good at data entry, you should do data entry. You're really good at schedule management, you should do schedule management. To be an executive assistant and a support to a business owner who is most likely ADHD or autistic or some other type of neurodivergent, you need to be a very unique kind of person. And I want to thank Faye for being here and for showing us my personal model of what that looks like. And we just keep building and iterating on Faye. We have Faye 1.0, we have Faye 2.0, whose name is Jalen. Soon we'll have Faye 3.0. I don't know what that will look like. but it's all based on a foundation, like you said, of respect and honoring differences and trusting that we want the best for each other.
Thank you, Miss A. Thank you for this opportunity. I also like to thank Alisto team for inviting me over for this podcast. I was nervous, because I don't know what it's about until Julio sent me the documents. And it's always a fun day with that. So stay tuned for more podcasts to come. Click and follow Spotify and Apple. Was it?
You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple Podcast. You could find us by following us on our Facebook group at Trust Yourself, Trust the Process. If you want to follow us through a more step-by-step process on how you become confident and radiant like Faye. You can find us on all social media platforms and Alisto Executive Support. And see y'all next week.
Thank you.
Bye.